All right, I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
I'll second.
How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We have no applications, so I don't think we have any conflicts of interest today.
I don't know why this is not staying. Okay, there it goes.
Okay, so, and Mindy, you can confirm this, but Jared, you were not at nearly all of these meetings.
Right.
So my understanding is only the members in attendance can vote on these. Is that,
Yeah, we talked about it before you came, and he's going to abstain from everything that he did not attend as a meeting member.
okay, great.
Because he was actually watching some of them.
Well,
He
were you?
was in attendance, but
Correct.
not as a member, which is fine.
Okay, well, that's fine. Didn't know you were watching us. I don't.
No.
We don't normally get a lot of visitors.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess let's just jump right in. We have minutes from January 4th, and we have these resolutions are dated January 18th. So the minutes from January 4th are just the minutes from January 4th. I don't think we have any resolutions for those. And I have to take, I know I've gone over these before.
I had just one little comment on the top of page 2.
January 4th. Okay, go ahead.
Where that second sentence in the first paragraph, Michael's an adjacent property owner, but has some concerns, I would change that to and.
Sounds good.
Can I ask you a question? So since these were Kristen's minutes, when they get published on the website, should I be signing them or leave them blank?
You can sign them.
Okay.
Because you are now our person.
Okay. Is it the responsibility of who sent the recording secretary to, are they essentially responsible for ensuring they're accurate?
They're responsible for following the directions of the board with respect to the accuracy of the minutes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have anything on this?
I'm good.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the January 4th meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll say.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we're on to January 18th minutes. And we take a look at the minutes, and then we had 2 resolutions as well. I guess this was the one where Bridget was here.
Yes. Via Zoom.
Via Zoom. Yeah, well, Bridget was nice, the meeting she attended. Nobody has any changes to this?
No, I didn't have any comments.
Okay, well, let's go through the resolutions then as well. And if everyone's okay with all of that, we can approve them all together. So we had the resolution number 1 and number 2. And this was the garage height variance and then the site plan.
I am good with these. For the resolutions and the minutes.
You looked at both resolutions?
Yep, I have read.
I mean, I guess we've looked at these some of us have looked at these a few times.
Yeah,
And I wasn't sure, because I didn't print this out in color, there's things that are either track changes or, I wasn't sure. Like in paragraph A of the first one on page 2, 2023, it has 2 E's and enhances, is that a?
I see 1 E in this printed copy.
Okay.
That's, yeah, I hate printing them with track changes on. That's always nice.
Okay.
Want to look at this?
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you. Yep. Yep. Okay, I'm good then.
Okay. Okay, if everyone is good, I'll make a motion to approve the January 18th minutes and resolutions 2023-1 and 2 as drafted.
Second.
I'll vote aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
Okay. And then we had this trustee referral, which I think this is already resolved, is that not? We had this floating around and made a few edits of it, and we just accepted it and sent it via email, I think. Katie, did you take, I know you were the last person, I think, to edit it. Did this look consistent with
Yes.
what you recommend?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was already signed.
One was already signed and
Okay.
sent.
Because I highlighted, see how his is highlighted. Because I was just curious on the applicant, if you wanted me to change the applicant name from Matt Thomason.
I believe that was the applicant for, was it Marathon Engineering, or he was the engineering company and he did the presentation.
Oh, okay,
And that was for 5 State Street.
right.
Yeah, so I guess my only comment is
the other-
5, 8, and 10, but
Yeah, 5, 8, and 10.
do we have 5, 8, and 10?
Yeah,
Mhm.
5 is action 2.
Yeah, okay, so there's action 1 and action 2.
right.
So there's applicant, okay, I was looking at this here. So there's applicant 1, action 1, there's applicant 2, action 2. Okay, now that I go back and look at it, it makes sense to me. Okay, so I'll, that was from our March meeting, I believe?
March 1st.
Yes, the March 1st. Okay, so we looked this over and discussed this. So the next thing is the March meeting minutes. And do I have a copy of those in front of me? I do not have a copy of those in front of me.
But
You want to see mine?
all of the minutes in a, here, back to back.
Are these, oh, here it is, I got it. Okay.
So I wasn't at that meeting, so I could not have seconded the motion to open it.
Oh, I guess we gotta take a look at this resolution as well.
No, I wasn't on that.
Okay, that lists you as absent. Okay, who thinks they motioned to open the meeting?
You
Should
know
have been
what,
Dave.
I wonder if it was you. I can go back and look at them.
Oh,
I don't think it matters.
Because I think at the beginning, I got confused on the names, who was who, because that was my very first meeting. So that was probably it.
could have been.
Well, if it were a female, then it was probably either Susan or Katie.
We'll give it to Katie this time. That sound all right?
Yes.
May I make a comment on the March 1st meeting minutes?
Sure.
Under the conflict of interest disclosure, I think that it might be more accurate to say that Member Hoppin explained that another attorney in her office represents the applicant of Thirsties.
Another attorney in my office is actually adverse to
Oh,
the applicant
okay.
in
Well, you don't have to go into any more detail than that, but that would be a good, I think that's a little more meaningful than interaction.
yeah.
So,
Leads all kinds of questions.
so what is the sentence?
So should we say, member Hoppin explained that another attorney in her office is adverse to the applicant of Thirsties?
Maybe say represents a party that's adverse.
Yes.
Represents a,
Yes.
Adverse party. Party.
yeah, it's an estate litigation, so
A party adverse to
adverse to.
Thirsties, and then the next sentence, she did not feel that there was a conflict as she did not have direct contact with the applicant or its
Or the
legal
client.
matters. Or the client, okay.
The applicant or client, okay.
Sometimes these things can be very funny.
Yeah, sometimes the wording is, when you go back and look at it, it's like, oh, that's not quite right.
Just a typo on page 2 in the middle. Member Marshall asked if the matter before the board is just a pergola. I don't think pergola needs to be capital.
That lowercase t.
Oh, the 5th paragraph on page 3. It's a little unclear what was meant. The architect, which doesn't need to be capitalized, proposes raising the current parking lot into a tabletop?
Oh, that's how he worded it.
That's how we work, okay.
Tabletop configuration?
Raises, maybe instead of the tabletop, to say raise the parking lot above grade.
That works.
Yes. And raising the northeast corner 18 to 24 inches. I just envision somebody picking up parking lot.
Let's see, architect,
Actually, they have interaction.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The State Street.
let's see, if we said the architect,
Right.
I was trying to think how we can reword this. If we say the architect proposes raising the current grade to construct the patio. I don't know. What they meant to say, I know what they said, is that there are slopes in where the parking lot currently is, and in order to flatten it, they needed to raise up corners of it.
And they also wanted to use that
And-
step seating.
Right.
Yes.
What about saying the architect proposes raising the current parking lot above grade in the northeast corner 18 to 24 inches so that it can be used as additional step seating?
Raising the current, so you're saying raising the current parking lot, get rid of into the tabletop,
Above grade in the northeast corner.
above grade. Above grade in the northeast corner.
18 to 24 inches so that it can be used as additional step seating.
Northeast corner, 18 to 24 inches, so it can be used as. I don't know what low stream walls are.
I think I just didn't listen and write exactly what.
How would we
Yeah.
say low walls, and the word stream doesn't seem to add anything to that sentence.
We just take it out.
Yeah.
Screening, yeah.
Screen, oh, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Low screening walls?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, it's a specific engineer and a specific architect, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but unless you're using that as a replacement for their name, you'd still keep it.
Yeah, it's not really a title.
Yeah,
Okay.
Or a defined term.
Or
right.
German.
We've all had the same training, so
Yeah.
we're usually applying the same criteria here to the uppercase, lowercase issue.
I know you're the one that does mountains of writing, and I don't know, you two as well?
Fair amount.
Yes.
Okay,
Almost all of what I do is writing.
okay.
And as long as we're wordsmithing, I would suggest that the board consider changes to the 2 paragraphs that start, there are 2 areas of cooperation. And then the next paragraph after that.
Yeah.
So you want to fix the uppercase letters?
I think there are different words that you may want to consider there.
Okay. And should we call it Rachel's, or should we call it, whatever the name of the cafe is?
Cycle Cafe.
I call it Cycle Cafe because I
Well,
can't,
but they're talking about historic
Right,
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say, we probably
Rachel's
wanna
is
keep
fine.
Rachel's.
issues. Um,
But there's a common area between the 2 businesses?
well, we can just say shared areas.
Or perhaps the 2 businesses at 5 State Street share dumpers and the ADA parking space.
Have traditionally.
Yes,
Yes.
better, thank you.
So there you go, just, okay, so if you say, delete, beginning of the sentence, to just say the two businesses
Mhm,
have traditionally shared
mhm,
the dumpsters and the ADA parking spots.
mhm.
ADA compliant parking space? Or is that a common way to refer to that?
Good enough for me.
And maybe the Mike Reynolds paragraph says, Mike Reynolds, 5 State Street, stated that when the property was subdivided, blah, blah, blah.
And an easement for the ADA space rather than handicap.
Mhm.
What, when I say ADA instead of handicap? Okay.
And I would suggest deleting adjectives. So in the top of page 4, I'm not sure the word unfortunately adds
Right,
anything.
right.
Good suggestion. And then the next paragraph down, there's like, that word still at the end of the second
Right.
paragraph. That seems unnecessary.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And all 3 have approximately 100% lot coverage.
Is that are they have?
Yeah. Building inspector has been researching lot coverage issues in the code.
In code, sure. Insert the.
Do you want to specify who the letter is going to be sent to in this 4th paragraph? They'd like the board to send a letter addressing the zoning?
Like between the PZBA, say instead of their board, to say between the PZBA.
No, I think Susan's talking
No.
about on the previous page.
On page 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
or 4, page 4.
The 4th paragraph,
Yeah, where
The
it begins the
applicant
applicant, yeah.
would like okay, you can say planning board. Okay, we'll replace board with planning board.
Mhm. To send a letter to,
Just to say who the letter is going to, say you
Yeah.
send a letter to the
To the trustees,
trustees.
letter to the trustees. Okay, so the other comment I had about, that was on along the same lines, was on page 5, where the second paragraph down where it says the board,
Mhm.
instead of their board, or say the communication between the PZBA and the Board of Trustees.
Mhm.
And my understanding is Justin Lightgib, by the way, is now our liaison.
Did that come to pass?
That was, I was not in that part of the meeting, but that's my understanding.
All right.
And then maybe the rest of that sentence, so the board discusses the lack of communication between the PCBA and the Board of Trustees, and will request that the liaison attend the PCBA meetings.
Yes.
And
Our requests?
sure, I like that better, request.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to address, I don't know how important this is to you, but if it were me, I'd probably change discusses to discuss, just to keep the tense consistent throughout, but
That sounds good.
it's not a,
I was
it's only a stylistic issue.
actually looking at that, and I think we cross over a few times.
Hmm,
So maybe it's
Okay.
just make it
Just throughout,
consistent
All
throughout.
past tense.
I think it should be past tense,
for minutes, I would say. so.
or that's how I would.
Well, I
As
don't
long
know.
as it's
matters.
consistent.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters as long as we just
Yeah.
pick one, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, anything else?
It's a tricky thing with recorded speech.
It is, and it's also tricky, it's like, you can always make minor changes to this. But then there's also going too far.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
Spending too much time at it.
Yep.
Very true.
Oh, so,
Well, we do have one attendee, TK.
You want me to know?
It just says TK.
Okay, well, I hope the attendee is thrilled with us editing minutes. I think that we're good for March, so I think I can make a motion to approve the March 1 minutes and the text of resolution 2023-3 as amended.
Seconded.
How do you vote?
Abstain.
Aye?
I will abstain also.
hi.
Aye.
Mike, you want to vote?
Aye.
Okay. Okay,
So he's allowed to come in to vote one motion.
Well, he can be part of the meeting.
Oh,
you bring me. Here, and here, I'll hand you mine that I wrote some of these markups on. You did your own, but you can compare them.
thank you.
Yeah, the only other thing that occurred to me is whether the meeting minutes ought to reflect that the Mike Reynolds who made the comment is not
Oh.
Mike Reynolds, who is the alternate.
I think that's a very
Good
Good
idea.
point.
Well, she did put the address, but.
Mike, what's your middle,
Property address, though.
what's your middle initial?
We both, mine's Jay, and then his is also Jay.
And the funny thing is, when there's also Mike Reynolds Senior, right? So there is 3 Mike Reynolds in the room all at once.
Right.
I know his dad was
Ooh.
Jay, and he when I use my credit card at the paint store, he was
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, maybe just a parenthetical remark then,
Yeah.
that Mike Reynolds is not the PCBA alternate.
Okay, do you want to start with the minutes and then get into the resolutions? I think probably the minutes are
Yeah,
faster than the resolutions.
yep.
I just have one correction on page 3 at the very bottom. The last line should be historic preservation board.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Home preservation board, that's good. Good catch. How about we also, under there, said, we mentioned Historic Preservation Board, can we put HPB in parentheses, because it's used, referred to as HPB in later. Good call. Yeah, these are pretty long, aren't they?
On the bottom of page 1, the last sentence gives the thorough background and the legal background behind the board's decision. It just gives background. Do we need to qualify as to how thorough it was?
Yeah,
It's
that
not.
makes sense.
Which provide background.
That's right.
So we're gonna state which provides background.
Or the rationale behind.
And so background and legal rationale. You want to say which provides background and the legal rationale behind the board's decision? Okay.
Sure.
Excuse me.
And the, or just legal rationale?
And
You say the.
Does the board think it's necessary to go through the entire tit for tat that's recited on page 2?
I know, no.
I mean, I think that the last 2 paragraphs on page 1 may summarize it adequately.
Mhm.
So I didn't know, since it's a comment from, like a public comment, I didn't know if I had to state each one.
Well, it really wasn't any different.
Okay.
You know, it was really more of a.
And then since I was putting
insistence.
so 1, 2, 3, and 4 are there. Now, so you're thinking on page 2, those top 4 paragraphs can all go.
That's my thought. I mean, if the board wants to keep it in, that's fine, but
I don't think it
I don't
adds
think it adds
anything.
anything.
I don't think, I'd agree, it doesn't add anything. Sometimes, as she stated, sometimes residents like to see their comments and make the minutes, and they get disappointed when they don't. But I agree, this doesn't add anything.
Right.
What's that?
Well, I said that if they would like to have more control over the minutes, they can sit on the board.
Right.
All right, so I like the idea of striking all those top 4 paragraphs.
Yep.
Page 2. I think there's agreement on that, so we'll go forward with that.
And the other question I had was about, for the motion for the Copper Leaf Brewing. There's a lot of content in the resolution that goes with this. And I'm wondering whether the board feels strongly about making the resolution substantially similar to last year's, with an added paragraph stating that this is a renewal, because a lot of stuff was addressed in 2022, and there were some legal issues that will kind of carry over from the question about whether it was the Copper Brewing was even eligible for the temporary permit. I'm not sure you really need to rehash all of that.
In the resolution?
2023, I mean, you could refer to it by,
Sure.
cite it by reference if you think that you want to, but to rehash all those things here, to me, read as if it were a little defensive. And, more information that you really needed to consider when you looked at the renewal of a previously granted temporary permit that had already addressed those legal issues.
So the question is, should we leave okay, so first of all, we have the minutes. And then we have the resolution itself.
Right.
So what is your recommendation?
For the minutes?
For the minutes, yeah.
Yeah, my recommendation would be, the resolution will be substantially similar to last year's.
Instead of identical.
Right.
Will be substantially similar, so replace word identical.
Right.
Substantially.
Not kick that dog.
Yeah.
I also highlighted the dates on the resolution.
Yeah.
The version I sent around, I had updated. Let me see if this is correct. This is an old version. This is the one I updated.
This lengthy one?
Yeah, so this one that's printed out is not the one I had emailed around. I didn't make many changes to it, but the main thing I fixed in it,
Want me to go print the other one?
yeah, so I fixed the dates. I also fixed the number of seats, which in here are 8, and in the new one, there's 12 was in their application. So I went through and looked at their application and read through all of this and updated it where it made sense.
But do we don't need to do all this, though?
Well, I guess that's another matter. So let's get through the minutes and then we'll get to deal with the resolution. Does that sound fair enough to everybody? Okay, so we were on page, we got through Copperleaf in the minutes, and then we're on 25 South. So that's bottom of page 2. Does anyone have anything more for page 2? And then we went through page 3, and we replaced Home Preservation Board with Historic Preservation Board,
Yep.
and HPB in parentheses.
So we're on page 4, right?
Page 4.
Austin Park.
Mhm.
Say we could probably remove the word still out of what's still
What paragraph?
in the 5th paragraph.
Okay, I like that.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
Still.
But where it says chairperson deletes throughout.
Oh, I'm sorry, right in front of me.
I thought you were talking about 5th paragraph under 5C.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
So we're on page 5.
Maybe,
People are
yeah,
reading.
may I make a comment on page 4? Chuck Mancini and his team have appeared before the HPD and PZBA instead of appearing in front
So
of.
replace gone in front of. Yep.
Appeared before, to receive feedback for approvals period. They submitted an application for the April 17th one.
So so the second sentence where they have an application, you're replacing
They
in.
submitted an application.
Okay, they submitted in.
So cross
And get rid of-
in.
and get rid of in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then under lighting, I would suggest deleting the words "for the record" in the first line. The architect thinks that they have not performed a lighting study, period. And I'm not sure it's necessary, the sentence above handicap parking, to call out that I had thoughts on the fence variances, but prefer to discuss it privately.
Yeah.
What paragraph are you in?
The one directly above handicap parking.
Handicap parking.
Mhm.
The attorney.
Wait, you want me to remove that whole sentence?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if the board agrees, yeah.
Yes.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I like the paragraphs on page 7, I thought they were pithy.
You thought they were what?
Pithy, nice and short and to the point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You good, Mindy?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Bummer.
Maybe I don't think the board's gonna let you move.
That what?
They're not gonna let you move.
I
Well, a new woman started part-time. I don't know if I should say this in recording. She seems very promising. So we'll see.
Good. Yeah, thank you for all your work on these. It's been a lot of work over it.
Right, this is technical stuff, I mean, it's not easy stuff.
It's hard to like go back and listen.
Yeah.
And also get it, summarize it without being, stating all the fluff and stuff in there. You just want to get the key
Right.
points, and knowing what is key and what is not is hard.
Yeah,
Well, it's hard to go back and listen because you can't hear clearly, and I feel like
right.
the way it's transcribed in there isn't great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always very accurate.
Okay, so it sounds like people are okay with the minutes, so now there's Xing up the resolutions and so on. And I don't know if Were none of these the ones I revised, or are most of these the ones I revised that I sent out yesterday, resolutions? Or you're not sure?
You revised, I added the notes that you put your handwritten notes,
Yep,
and then I put those in, and then I sent.
sent it out, yeah, and then I sent out an update that fixed something, that updated 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I didn't know which versions you printed.
I thought I resaved it.
Okay, well, maybe that one was missed, and I don't even remember what I changed, it was various typos, and
Okay, so I'm gonna restart my computer and.
well, take a look and see. Let me pull one of these up. Oh, and I got them on my computer, you don't need to read on my computer.
Well, this says 4 tables, so that probably answers the question. Right?
Okay.
This is it.
Okay, so I can say what I changed. Now, we may want to, if you want to get rid of a bunch of paragraphs in here, we can do that for number 4. Primary change I made is if we go, I gotta wait for her to get back.
So do you,
I've updated the application date and the dates that it's going to be open, things like that.
so since this is a renewal, Justin, do we need all of the whereases?
Well, Mindy was suggesting we get rid of them.
Pardon?
Mindy was suggesting we get rid of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was suggesting that we would delete everything from 1 to the 4th whereas, the one that starts on January 3rd.
Yep.
Delete all that through, on a couple pages later where it says, whereas 21039 4 sets forth considerations.
Yeah, let's wait for her to get back.
Okay.
We can go over
Good point.
it. Take a look at some of these other ones to see if they had changes I made in here.
Joy of sharing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, number 5. Okay. Wait a minute. Jared, what, you were not in the 4-5 meeting, is that right?
No. No, my first meeting was the special meeting. on the 21st.
Okay.
What's it? Mindy, your suggested deletions would be through which page?
Through, I think it's the third page. Through the top whereas clause that says whereas 210-294, like leave that
Okay.
one also,
Okay,
and pick it up again after the board has held a public hearing.
okay.
You say, whereas the board makes the same findings as in the resolution,
Yeah, that's good, that's better.
and then you can take all the rest of that out. right?
Yeah. Or affirms previous findings?
Yes, I like that better.
All right.
Did you get that, Mindy?
I did, I like it.
Which one are you in?
Oh, we're still on Copper Leaf.
Okay. Great.
We wouldn't proceed any further.
Okay, so I didn't reprint 11 because I didn't see any on there. So here's, what number are you on?
We're on 4. Copperleaf.
This is 7.
Affirms and restates. That's not-
Right.
That's my amended trust language.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if affirm the previous findings, do we have to go further and say, and find that they still exist? Just, I don't want to be too technical, but there's a part
Or
of me that wonders.
confirms?
Yeah,
Well, we can reaffirm.
reaffirm. Yeah.
Confirm,
Yeah.
affirm, and reaffirm.
Right.
We just state it again.
Save trees
Right.
after all
I
of this.
think, I think
I know,
that
I
tree
mean,
is
it's
down.
Yeah.
It's a lot of paper.
It's
Yeah.
time.
Does anyone have ideas on how we can share documents and like, this is very frustrating, because you try emailing them back and forth and someone doesn't get confused by the different versions, and just keeping track of these things while they're in flux. I know, I mean, normally in Office 365, you can just do a shared folder in someone, and
Right,
but not everybody has it.
right.
That's right.
Well, one way we could, oh, go on.
No, I was going to suggest, I mean, there are other free things that do substantially the same thing. You'd use a Google document, for example. I don't know if that creates issues, though, with everybody needs to use a Google account to get it, and, you know, our email is not through, our village email is not through Google, you know, so I don't know. Like at a previous firm where I was, Google was our email provider, so it was very easy to do that without having issues of using personal emails and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, one of the concerns I have is, to the extent that we're dealing with public records that need to be maintained by the village, and there are, both open meetings law and village law requirements regarding that. So I'm a dinosaur in that way. There may be a better way to do it, but I'm not sure we can do it and still comply with the open meetings law.
Well, it may be that the public may need to have access to it to view it.
That's a possibility, but it doesn't resolve the issue of they need to be maintained by the village
Mhm.
and be subject to FOIL and all that other stuff.
Right.
Yeah, well, after they're adopted, yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, it's complicated, but I think that for me, the easiest way to deal with different versions and making sure everybody's literally on the same page is to have a revision date at the bottom. You know, just
Oh.
plug in a,
Mhm.
Oh, that's
You know,
fantastic.
footer.
That's such a simple, fantastic idea. I do that with a lot of my documents for work, and sometimes you even have a header in there that has a change log and stuff like that, but we don't need to go to that extent, but at least having a version number or something in there, that sounds
yeah,
good.
or a date,
Or a
whatever
date,
yeah.
people would find easier. You know, I mean, if we're gonna have multiple people
How did these
working on it,
relate?
shouldn't say playing with it, working on it, then, you know, the date may be more meaningful than the version number.
Yeah.
Date timestamp.
Yeah, I think that's what we do in our office, is just the file name itself is
Right.
just year, month, date, and then whatever the document is. And if there's more than one that we've emailed back and forth on the same date, then we go to version 1, version 2,
Right.
whatever.
Right, or we just, and the other thing that the footer can have is noting that it's draft, and then we can take out the
Yeah,
footer when it's final.
Great point.
Okay, yeah, this was missing draft in it, but, okay, so, oh, did you grab those ones I was scribbling on?
No, these are the ones I just printed.
Oh, those ones you just printed, okay. I get such a mountain of paper in front of me,
Yeah.
this is hard. I see they have
That's
another
what-
field now.
Should we separate out the other resolution 4s? Just so there's no outcry. Okay, you're fine. Okay, so there's 7.
What do I have? Do I have anything here on the comments on it? Anything? If you want to keep track of this, these are my handwritten notes, the minutes from April 5.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have the updated resolution 4, and there's really only a couple things. We're going to make some more changes. I just want to go over what changed in this relative to the last version we looked at, which is number 1. So first of all, under the resolve paragraph, the application date was inserted and the dates that the permit is valid for. They had requested April 1 to November 15, and I didn't think we wanted to approve it prior to the meeting. So I put April 6 to November 15.
Okay.
Doesn't matter much to me what dates we stick in there.
I must be looking at a different version because I'm seeing June 2nd through October.
Was that the one that she just printed?
No,
That was the previous one.
this is the previous one.
Yeah.
This is what you just printed.
Oh,
Those old ones just need to be discarded.
Got from me, actually, right?
yes. Oh, good.
Okay, so I fixed the dates. It's April 6th to November 15th. Next question is that legal? And do I even have the internet? How long can temporary permits be issued for?
Why don't you just say the temporary permit is valid through November 15th?
Mhm.
Okay. My concern is that might need to be a 6-month permit.
Oh, since it's temporary.
Yeah, check.
I don't remember they changed this one, so.
We don't have a code book anywhere around, I assume. None exist?
Is there really a
I'm
time?
sure there's one near Steve's desk. I don't know which one to look at though.
I could look for it if you think it's on his desk. I know what it looks like.
If you take the start date out, what difference would it make?
because it's gonna end, so it's
Right.
clearly temporary.
Right.
True.
Okay, a such temporary use permit shall be used for a period of a maximum of 6 months. And upon additional application may be extended for an additional 3 months. So I'll just read the whole paragraph. The ZBA may grant with conditions, or deny such application for a temporary use permit. Such temporary use permit shall be for a period of a maximum of 6 months, and upon additional application may be extended for an additional 3 months.
Well, that's the answer then.
Yeah.
They did not submit such an application, though.
What was the request in their application? What was? I don't have the application.
Is it open yet? If we just said May 15th through November 15th, that's 6 months. Right now, it's May 1st.
And they're not going to be using any outdoor seating
No.
before then.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to
Well,
be
but
outside.
instead of making up a first date, though, well, whatever,
Well, they asked for April 1st,
but that would have been,
7 months
7
or
months.
7.5
Right.
months.
so.
So it would have to be,
so
what,
just say-
October 1st?
Or,
But they're not using it outside, they're not going outside.
right. so
Right now,
just
it's
say-
May 2nd, so,
So
yeah.
just say through November 15th.
Good, I just think that since we're limited to 6 months, I think we should state 6 months. And I don't think they're gonna be open before May 15th.
Or you could say a 6-month period concluding on November.
Yeah.
Yes,
That works.
Okay,
Yeah,
And then
I like
you don't
that.
have to
Yes.
worry
Right.
about what exactly is a month.
yes.
right.
so the 30 days or 31 days, or
Right.
how do you lawyers deal with that?
28,
A
right.
6-month period
It
concluding on November 15th.
However you count it, it ends on November 15th.
All right,
It'll probably be 80.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they probably said, they're the right.
yeah, so the snow may start next
Communicate
to,
this to, well.
yeah, we gotta,
Yeah.
That's a good catch, Justin, thank you.
See, you still have your jacket on, it's cold in here.
It is. I never even took my
I'm
jacket.
doing fine, I guess I'm the only.
You know, I still have my long johns on my hands, I didn't take them off.
I was cold all day. In our office, for some reason, the way the heat is set up
Oh,
is, my
Right.
office has the controls for the conference room. It cools the conference room, and it always gets very hot in the conference room.
Mhm.
So we had to crank it ring the AC way up when we've got depositions or something happening, but then it like freezes out my office. So I'm sitting there shivering all day.
Space heater.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
I've got one.
Okay, so Megan, we have this permit for Copperleaf, this is number 4. And this version, the application date was corrected to 2/22/2023. That was the one that you just printed. And we are changing condition number 1. And what we're changing it to is to say this temporary permit is valid for a 6-month period ending November 15, 2023.
Okay.
So that's roughly May 15 to November 15, or however someone interprets a 6-month period. And that's the maximum amount of time we can grant the permit for.
Do you want that stated?
No, no, that second thing, no, just one sentence in that paragraph ending November 15th. Also in this one, the seating area shall consist of up to 12 temporary chairs. That was the only other change I made. Last year it was 8 temporary chairs, and in this year's application, they requested 12.
On the last.
Oh, okay. So does that require a change here? Or is
Well, the printed one, it has a 12 in. I'm just explaining, because we've been looking at different versions, I'm just explaining what changed.
Right.
Okay, so, other than that, there's whatever we want to do to the whereas paragraphs. So, the discussion was to delete most of them, and the rationale was in the June 2, 2022 minutes, and doesn't need to be copied here. So Megan, I believe, starting with the fourth whereas paragraph, that starts on January 3, 2019. This is page
Going
1.
back in, which page?
Page 1.
First page.
Okay.
Okay, so the whereas on January 3, 2019,
Oh,
so it sounds like we're going to be getting rid of a whole bunch of paragraphs.
Mhm.
From the fourth whereas down.
And then we're deleting all the rest of them on that page, correct?
Yep. And on the following page?
Yep.
And we're deleting all of them, correct?
Yep.
why, because it's subject to last year.
Yeah.
It's a renewal.
Through,
So we covered that in the paragraph where we cited the June 1st, 2022 decision, and that this is a renewal. So all, on page 2, all whereas paragraphs are gone.
mhm. Page 3.
Page 3, the top 2 of them, correct? Nope, or just the top whereas paragraph.
Correct,
So where it says the board has held a public hearing, we keep that.
yes.
We keep the paragraph, says it makes the following findings regarding review requirements, we keep all of that. And then the rest of this is fine, subject to any wording changes we want, I think.
Right, or we say in that the third
Third
whereas, that the board what do we reaffirms and restates the resolution dated, or the resolution 2022 dash whatever dated.
Okay, so you want to say that third paragraph, get rid of all the findings, and just say whereas the board reaffirms the findings
Yes,
from the June 1, 22 resolution.
yes.
Zoning Board of Appeals
Is
reaffirms.
it the same number of chairs?
No, it's an increased number.
We have to address that.
Oh,
You can't just reaffirm if the number of chairs has changed. Especially it's bigger now, right? It's more chairs?
We're 50%?
Yeah.
That's part of the conditions. Can we still just keep, or
Well,
no, it should be?
No, I think that you should reassess the factors that you need to consider, because the impacts are going to be a little different when you increase the number of seats by 50%.
Do we want to just keep the old findings in there and increase the 8-chair seating area to say 12-chair seating area?
Yes.
Yes.
The area, the seating area hasn't changed.
just the
So
number of seats.
finding 1
Right,
is going to change from 8 chairs to 12 chairs.
right.
And then finding 5. There will be 8 chairs,
Yeah.
12 chairs added? Or just 12 outdoor chairs?
There will be 12 chairs, get rid of the word added,
Yeah, right.
so there will be 12 chairs and a building.
Mhm.
Okay,
And then, I'm sorry, on page 1, the second whereas clause, the second whereas paragraph appears to be,
indent.
it's, what do you call it, when it's all in the middle? Center justified, instead of left justified.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, of that permit. It's very important.
Okay. That's minor, but that's okay. Okay, well, thanks everyone for catching various things.
Some of these are gonna be switched out too. I don't know. I guess I forgot to save over the old ones with his updated.
My old ones had different names. I had to put Rev 2 in the name to differentiate them, but anyway. This is not fun, but normally we don't do 12 what is this, like 16 documents? That's like, we never deal with this many at once. So this one from 4/5/2023, there's the original one printed out. I was just looking at what revisions were in that Rev 2 one, and there wasn't much. On the bottom of page 1,
Which one?
Is this 5?
this is number 5. The bottom of page 1, A was changed to say the proposed action does not create any zoning violations. So they did not have any variances.
Oh,
So did you
I
print out?
printed out the updated ones.
You printed out the updated ones. Okay, do we have those, or?
Which am I looking at?
Lots of paper.
There's lots and lots of stuff. Okay, so this is,
Is it only the
This
one
one.
line?
yeah, it's only one line.
Not-
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so not this,
Right,
So
not
do you want
yet.
this right now?
not yet.
Well, I guess, what are we doing
Oh,
with this?
that's a
Oh, I
I
paragraph.
didn't see anything
Oh,
else that I
this
was
is
going
site plan.
to
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 5.
change.
Okay.
Thank you. From this one.
Yeah, and the other thing that's from the new one I added, I put Jared Cook in there, but he apparently wasn't at the meeting, so he
Right.
doesn't get credit for it yet.
No.
He was on the 20th or the 21st.
21st was my first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it going to be confusing if I hand these out, or
I don't,
is it only the one line?
only the one line changed.
I think you're fine. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Unless, does anyone else, I mean, this was like NA, 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 NA.
Right.
Right.
Oh, the one line and removing Jared.
Right.
Page 3.
Right.
Okay. So Megan, did you get the note of that, or are you just gonna look at the Rev 2 one? The Rev 2 one, all you need to do is remove Jared Cook.
Yes.
Okay. You got that. Okay, so now I guess we're on the meat of these, which is the ones for Cycle Cafe. What's that?
You never know.
Okay.
Yeah, we never, you want to take a break for a couple minutes?
No.
I'm
prefer
okay
not
to push
to.
through, yeah.
Okay,
Unless anybody.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody needs to take a break, that's fine.
okay, Megan, the ones that are in front of us, I don't know what version these are, or printed.
I reprinted the Rev 2s over here.
Okay, do you want to hand those out so we can all look at the same ones? Well, this is so much paper, but
I know. Okay, 6?
6.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is your garbage pile?
That's my garbage pile down there. I normally just keep my garbage pile further in front of me, but it's going to overtake the table. Might need a new address.
So does this one say Jared Cook at the end too?
Let's see.
No,
No. So this is the old 6. This is the new 6.
yeah, I don't know if you guys had piles of comments you scribbled on anything. Well, I guess since the documents were just printed today, there's probably not a whole lot of scribbling on them. But if you had printed out ones at home, anyway, we can just go through this and update things as needed.
We were so close.
So A, can we start with finding A?
Yes.
Any concerns with that? We can go through them one by one, or,
With A, I would just suggest saying that lot coverage is almost 100% instead of already about, because in the first page, you talk about lot coverage being 95%.
yeah, well, it is 100% now, I believe. What would you say, almost? So already meaning, so it says the existing lot coverage, if you want to say that, so we can say the
Okay.
existing lot
Okay.
coverage
Got it.
is almost 100%. It might be 100%, but there might be a crack in the concrete somewhere with some grass in it. Okay, so A, we're changing it to say the site will be more attractive, comma, the existing lot coverage is almost 100%, comma, and then the rest is unchanged.
Need an and?
You mean after the last comma?
After percentage, yeah.
So and drainage? Okay, we can insert an and. I guess I would normally, if I put an and in there, I'd stick a semicolon instead of a comma, but that's me.
No, this is the old school grammatical way.
Yeah.
Comma and?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Oxford comma.
Exactly.
It is the Oxford comma.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So on C, does it make sense to say 100% pervious existing instead of currently?
You can say, or if we're going to say almost in A, we should say almost in C. And if we're going to say existing in A, we should say existing in C, I think.
Okay, I think that makes sense. So in the parentheses in C, we're going to say almost 100% impervious existing.
You got
Well, you know-
existing conditions, so just take out currently,
Okay, so just,
relative to
Mhm.
existing
Right,
conditions.
yeah, good point.
okay, so in parentheses, it's only going to say almost 100% impervious.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And D, we're going to just revise it to be identical to A.
Right. What about taking out the, oh,
I'm thinking that it may be appropriate to have a very quick attorney-client session.
okay.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn for
How we do that.
attorney-client
Yes.
session.
I'll second.
Aye.
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 So we can just pause the second. Okay,
Make a motion to reopen the meeting.
make a motion to resume the meeting.
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're back. So take a look at resolution number 6. And we were on page 2, and we were on number D. Not that D is a number, but good enough. And with the last update we did was to update D to match A, revisions in A.
Correct.
And then any comments people have on E, F, and G? Any thoughts?
Oh, so in E, wait, do we need a loan, but this alone does not preclude,
I know that's what, been kind of a standard
is it?
answer. Well, I think
You
that,
probably want it.
Okay,
The case law uses that terminology.
okay,
so I guess the comment is, if we're doing a balancing act for the 5 criteria, if one of the criteria doesn't comply with it, okay. If 3 of them don't, well, maybe we should consider it. So we got to consider the quantity of them, sort of.
And also the quality of them.
And the
I
quality
mean,
of
one of them is
Yeah.
really important,
Right.
then it could conceivably tip the scales, but self-created hardship is not one of
Right.
those things that could tip the scales all by itself.
yeah, I mean, I think back to the LWRP and
Right.
how uneven, those requirements were. The 10-parter versus the,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's the
Anyway.
monster one, and then there's ones that everything would comply with,
right,
like no dredging.
right, so, right. Numbers were meaningless.
Okay, so we're okay then with E,
Yep,
and then anything about F and G, by all means, throw it out there.
F, the second sentence. Small reduction in impervious surface will not reduce impacts.
Yeah, so if it went from 95 to 92, so here's maybe there's a different way of wording it. So if we were to drop it from 95 down to 90, okay, that wouldn't really change anything, is the comment. If you drop it from 95 down to 40, yeah, that might change something. But at least that's my thinking. I don't know if there's a better way to word it. So small changes in this aren't really important, but
Maybe see
Is that
it,
the terminology, I guess? I guess maybe that's my
Yeah,
question. The impacts word, is that?
I'm thinking of it in a different way, because the issue is whether the variance is the smallest possible variance you can give somebody to provide the relief that they're seeking. So it's almost like the inverse of that, which is
Right.
there's so little left that you have to give it all in order to grant there's
Have
nothing
anything to
left,
grant.
there's no other room.
right,
Yeah,
Right? I
so,
mean, it's the impervious surface is so small that there's nothing left. I don't know how you say it, how do you say it?
yeah, I don't know either, but I mean,
Take that sentence
could they
out.
build the same thing at 94% instead of 95%? I don't know, but it would make zero difference in the grand scheme.
Right.
Like you're saying, a little more doesn't, once it's already there. I don't know how to, I mean, I think we understand the concept, but how to word it is the challenge. Anyone have thoughts on how to rewrite that sentence?
Well, not having a meaningful impact.
I like meaningful.
A small, what do we say? A small additional reduction in impervious surface? Or, well,
Further reducing the
Yeah.
impervious surface will not have a meaningful impact.
I like that. Further reducing impervious surface will not,
Or any further reduction.
Mhm.
well, I mean, if it was a small reduction, it wouldn't make it, but if they went from 95 to 12, obviously that would make a difference.
Yeah.
But,
You could just say something like, reduction of the scale.
oh, I think here's the thing, it says any further reduction in impervious surface will not meaningfully reduce impacts and allow for a patio. Something like, if you went way down, you could, but then there's no patio.
Right.
Tiny patio.
Yeah. Depends how big does it have to be to be a patio? Single paper.
Well,
Okay, so here's my suggested rewritten sentence. Any further reduction in impervious surface will not meaningfully alter impacts while still allowing for a patio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bunch of stuff in G. Any thoughts people have? And
Transect?
yes, that is, I can pull this up. If anyone wants to actually see some of this stuff. I wish I could print it. But
Well, what does the word mean?
I don't know, but it's what's used. There's plenty of words in our language that are just used to fluff sentences.
We had such battles with the consultants over consultantese.
Oh, yeah.
And the planners made a lot of defects in
I
the
mean,
zoning
you
code.
couldn't tell at the first draft that it was about Pittsford, that Erie Canal wasn't mentioned. Yeah. Do you remember that, Joanne?
How do you leave out the?
Yeah,
It's kind of.
because you have, you're so wedded to boilerplate.
Yeah, he tells us
Yeah.
that too.
Just take it out.
I think it's critically important personally.
Justin, really?
Yeah, that's the basis for a lot of this stuff. Was it page 60, I said?
66.
66.
What does it add? What does that one
What
word
does it
add?
mean?
If we don't know what it means.
Oh, you're saying just remove the word
Just the
plan.
word
Yeah.
transfer.
So if we just,
Yeah.
okay, it says the whole section is called the Pittsford Village Transect. And the concept is we transition from a dense urban center to a mixed-use area, to a residential mixed use, then we go to single-family homes, and then we go to open
They
space.
say transitional.
So so basically, we're in the downtown area, so downtown, high density makes sense
Right,
with
right.
pavement and so
Right.
on.
Right.
So that's the whole concept
Mhm.
that's in the comp plan. If you want to change this, by all
No,
means.
I yield.
Now that I understand the word, I like it.
I know, it knows.
Yeah,
Right.
and that is the word that's used in the comp
Yeah.
plan.
It's used in the comp plan,
Might as
yes.
well be consistent, I
If anyone
guess.
wants to look at this, by all means, but, and then the
No,
other page.
never again.
Okay, then the next page, 60, wait a minute.
90.
Yeah, it talks about walkability. The next page, what it says for the traditional downtown area, okay, is, this is on page 90, traditional downtown, that's this center of the village here. It says parking areas are located in the rear of the lot.
Right.
And we don't want parking lots in front yards, and that's also in the zoning code, so
Makes sense.
that makes sense. So there, anyway, so there's citations in here.
No, good.
That was really nice.
No, excellent. Take it all back.
Okay.
What was that?
Okay, now, is there anything else to add? I don't know if Mindy, if you had thoughts on other findings or anything to add?
No, I really liked it. I thought that you got to the heart of the matter.
Do you want to, this is for lot coverage, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yes. Do you,
Is there like a
are
good
you
seven
not
and a
putting
bad
any
seven?
conditions on this,
Yeah, so he had me,
Justin?
he had edits,
So this is bad seven?
yes.
Justin, no conditions?
This is
Well,
good seven.
we did not have any conditions when we voted on this.
Okay. So you
It
want to
does
say
say,
none after it says for the,
okay, so we got the resolve paragraph needs to be amended. So just,
We're back on 6?
we're back on 6. We get, unless you want to pick those.
I'll get it.
Or you want to hand those out first and we'll go back?
No, it's fine.
We're back on,
Here, I took it, I grabbed it. You just write none?
I would just add a period and get rid of the last of it. So, and now, therefore, it is resolved, the zoning board of appeals, that the area variance request is hereby granted for the reasons stated above, period.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so I gave both of you the updated seven.
Yep.
Did I give you the updated
I don't-
number seven?
Think so.
Okay.
Thanks.
thank you.
Did I give you, I thought I had one more.
Everyone have it? There's my marked up one. Do you want my other marked up one again? Number 4?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. For number 7 here, I guess page 1 is the same on most of these. So this is the fence one. It's cited 98-1 of the zoning law, which is the fence law. So if we start on A, I guess the first question for Mindy, is substandard the correct term?
Non-conforming.
Yeah, I would say non-conforming.
So the both parking
What was
lots
the
are,
idea here, that they're too small?
they're too narrow. So you have cars are backing up out of in a parking lot
This is the issue.
towards the other property, the property in question. And since the drive aisles are narrower than allowed, like required by code, cars backing up have a shorter than required distance to back up. They're more likely to collide with said fence. So if you're having a seating area there, if you had a drive aisle 100 feet wide, no one's gonna hit the seating area. But if it's, it was something like 6 or 7 feet too narrow at the bakery's site. So that drive aisle should have been much wider.
Okay,
So that's the problem. And so that's being solved by the fences and wall, the very
Okay.
solid fences and
so
walls.
maybe it makes sense to say adjacent properties have parking lots that are too narrow, and the fence and wall are needed for patio user safety.
Or just, how about adjacent properties? Oh, I just forgot it.
So adjacent properties,
Or the-
non-conforming parking lots that are too narrow, I like that.
Just adjacent parking lots?
I think we need to be clear that the parking lots are on adjacent properties.
Yeah.
Okay. And this fence and wall provides,
Too narrow and
fence and wall provides needed,
provides,
Safety for patio users,
yeah.
and the fence and wall provides,
or protect, fence and wall protect patio users from vehicular conflict.
Yes.
Vehicular
I like it.
conflict.
And you may not want to mention that the wall and the fence is integral to the visual concept, because that ties the area variance to this particular application and not to the property.
Oh, yeah,
True.
good point.
okay, well, but this is all conditioned on this particular application. The condition of approval is that they get all their other things, so.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's a good point.
So I guess that really doesn't mean, that sentence, that last sentence can be removed, because it just doesn't really add anything.
Right.
So we're okay with removing the fence wall as integral to the whole visual concept?
Mhm.
I'm getting punchy, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're not the only one.
yeah, that's right.
So I was looking at B, where it says the fence walls required for safety and screening of the patio area from adjacent parking lots.
Yep.
So it would say vehicular traffic on the
Right.
adjacent parking lots.
From vehicular traffic?
Yeah, because the parking lots
They're
themselves.
not going to pose a danger.
True.
How about vehicular traffic on the adjacent parking lots?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so a fence wall is required for safety and screening of the patio area from vehicular traffic on adjacent parking lots.
Yeah.
Okay. Good enough.
From. Like
Sure,
if the-
instead of on, we'll do from.
Vehicles are
Yeah,
on the
good point.
adjacent
Yeah, from.
lots,
Yeah.
Right.
then,
Yeah, if they stay on the lot, there's no issue.
How are you doing, Megan, with your notes?
Good,
She's
but
good.
she's also writing into and stealing
Okay.
it as well.
Okay, so you're getting like 3 sets of them or something
I
like
have
that.
this, I have this,
Great.
and both of yours.
Okay, great.
so just say from.
Okay, all right. C.
Do they dictate fences?
Well, I mean, the summary here is they said, well, they wanted room for the seat, but they also said it's too much pitch. So they wanted a relatively flat patio with the pitch necessary for drainage and no more.
Right.
So they had to raise the corner of it to get there. So the front portion.
I think it's fine as is.
I would have said allow.
Which sentence?
That's all right,
It's close enough.
yeah.
D should be same as A, right?
Yeah.
So now in E, is it just a desire or is it a necessity? Because now they're dictated.
Well, they don't need to put a patio in there. The desire for patio is all theirs.
Right, yeah, maybe dictated by the use of patio, but that's still self-created because they want to put a patio.
So should we change that to say the desire for a patio and tall fences?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll amend that sentence to say the desire for a patio and tall fences is self-created, but this alone does not preclude granting an area variance.
And then in F, you may want to avoid talking about the bicycle rack and barrier
Right.
for spray, and talk more about the proximity to a substandard parking lot and the need to protect the public.
Okay, so which one was that?
F.
F, no, but which one are we copying from? Are we copying from a different one? Was it the last resolution that talked about that?
The paragraph B,
Paragraph B.
right.
So if we copy that, so if we just copied that to F,
And then I would keep in,
in the second
just
sentence.
keep in the second sentence, yeah.
So the first paragraph in F, we are going to strike. So the first sentence starts with wooden fence,
Mhm.
and we're going to copy the answer from B into F.
Yes.
Good. Good.
And I see in G, we kind of copied that same language, but it was written a little differently.
Yeah, I think it's,
The second sentence in A, adjacent properties.
At
Mhm.
4 South Main and 5 State. I believe those are the right dish. So 4 South Main is the Phoenix building. I don't know, was it Mitchell Pearson Realty, is that what it's called?
Yep.
mhm.
Should we put that in there? Or, well, that's not confused. The only confusing is the Village Bakery and the Cycle Cafe have the same address.
Yeah.
So in G, we're replacing that first sentence with the sentence from,
F, they're replacing the first sentence.
oh, I thought we were on G.
We were, well, I didn't hear any changes for G.
Oh, okay.
So, and F was the last one we changed. So far, no
All right,
changes to
okay, sorry.
G have been discussed. So F, we struck the first sentence and replaced it with the entirety of the sentence in B.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think G is good.
He has, the third line, fourth line from the bottom says the parking lot connects to Monroe Avenue. It actually connects to State Street.
Which one was this?
I think you probably
That might
have
be
an
a
older
different version, 'cause I'm not seeing that in this
Yeah,
one.
we don't get that.
Yeah, that might have been an older draft.
Okay.
Don't you want the parking lots at adjacent
Which one are you on?
G, the second, the.
Oh, yeah, good
second
point.
The
sentence.
parking lot, so make that plural?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. H is good.
Okay, it didn't talk about the wooden one, but that's pretty small. Is there anything people want to say about the wooden one? So the findings, I just wanted to mention one thing. An earlier draft didn't have the condition number 4 in here. And I thought,
Oh, yeah.
basically, I thought that to clarify that, so if someone 5 years from now gets an approval from the 3 boards for a different project, then this is null and void.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So this one is going to expire if no building permit is granted within 1 year. So if this project is dead, this variance is dead.
Makes sense.
So
So that's 7.
8 is,
We on to
Is
8?
8 the same thing?
No, this is a mix-up. So do you have the new 8?
Yes, you want to know what? I think that the number 8 I had
I think you switched it to 7, actually.
That is what happened.
I have 8 as the parking variance.
Yes, that's the parking lot.
0 parking spaces.
0 parking,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's 8 right here.
okay.
Okay. That's,
Okay, so this is bad 8.
Yeah.
And that should be resolution 2020.
Right.
Yeah, 27 at the top. Is that,
Seems like 24.
Yep.
Yeah.
wait a minute,
3-8.
Mhm.
what happened with this?
Good.
This has a bunch of scribble on the second page.
I think you might
Mine
have gotten
doesn't.
the wrong copy.
oh, was that your notes down here?
Wait a minute, oh, this was number 7.
Yeah.
Okay, this was my notes from
This is what
7.
I just handed
That's what
you.
you handed me. This is the last one, I was confused.
Okay.
Okay, so I can't recognize the comments I wrote 5 minutes ago. I guess it's getting that time of the night.
Yeah.
How many hours, how do you deal with massive amounts of document editing, Mindy?
I get up and walk around in between. Sometimes I walk outside.
I guess, I
And
imagine you must have days where you're doing this all day.
I can't do it all day long without a break or I get stale. The other thing I do is I switch to numbers. Like
Numbers.
when I get really tired of drafting, I work on something that involves numbers.
Okay. All right, so we're on to 8. Any comments on 8?
Yeah, I would suggest you consider taking out the sentence that says the applicant is willing to erect signs advising customers where to park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an A.
Yeah,
Yes.
second to the last.
There's this comment here about no business can operate at this location and comply with the parking requirements and code. Should we cite the meeting where we discussed this? That was the last variance request for this property, and what was it, 2019?
You can say this board has consistently found that it is difficult,
Impossible.
not impossible for business to operate in this location while complying with the parking
Right.
requirements.
Yeah, so, I mean, my recollection of the discussion, I looked at it briefly, but the building inspector, I believe, said any business needs at least 8 parking spots in that location, and they only have 5. And the parking requirements are based on the square footage of the building.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's an office, a cafe, it could be a hair salon with 1 chair. I don't think it matters what it is. It's still required at least 8 parking spots, and it's not possible to build them there. That was the previous discussion back at the last
Maybe
time.
we
we
say
had the
that.
variance.
Code requires 8 parking spots for a building of this size, and the property, the lot will only support 5.
I could take a look for that. Do we want to?
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to cite the prior decision, as long as this decision is consistent with it.
Okay, and I believe that sentence, no business can operate in this location and comply with parking requirements and code, that specific sentence, I believe, was in the last variance that we approved.
Okay, great.
So do we just leave it at that?
I-
Or do we add something? to explain why.
You can certainly leave it, and/or you can add a sentence saying that there,
We could say
the
that,
lot, the lot will not support a building of this size and the parking required by a building of this size, or something like that.
yeah, I'm just thinking, is the square footage of the building
Okay,
dictates
hold up, is it?
more than,
Okay,
we could say the square footage of the building requires more than 5 parking spots.
Just say the code requirements are inconsistent with the physical reality of the.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
that's
I
brilliant.
like that.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Can you say that again?
I'm not sure.
Because the code requirements are
Requirements.
inconsistent with the physical
Physical
reality
reality.
of the site.
Right. Thank you, Jared.
And that's instead of that sentence, the no business can operate
Yeah.
sentence?
That's after that sentence.
It's after that or instead of?
Well, I would say,
I think it's good to keep that,
Okay.
given what Justin said about
I believe it was
the
copied,
previous one.
I believe that was copied almost verbatim from the previous one. I can pull up the previous one, I think I have
No,
it.
that's right.
Nope, good.
I look at it.
Wait, we're good.
Okay.
We're so good.
We're really good.
Okay, and then B is just straight to the point.
Yep.
Do you want to maybe change that to no feasible way to build, or?
I'm fine with adding feasible.
Right.
And so, like, this.
You have to remove the
this is
building.
Parking for cars,
Right,
right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you could park other things, so just say cars,
Parking for cars.
or,
I think that's pretty well implied.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree.
Maybe in 30 years, they'll think of things differently, 100 years, I don't know. So let's say, we'll just say no feasible way.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know, maybe Susan's right, because we're talking about bike parking being there, so
Right.
maybe,
Okay, I'll add for cars.
I don't want to be too picky enough.
adequate vehicular
Yeah, that's what I
parking.
would
I was
say.
thinking vehicular, but then vehicular could imply,
Bicycles.
I suppose that's true.
Auto,
All right,
theoretically, I don't know.
so I have it right now as there is no feasible way to build adequate vehicular parking on this site. I don't think that's a sentence we should be devoting more time to.
I agree. I agree.
right. Well, so here we have non-vehicular in the next one. so
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe it was okay.
So I don't, this kind of doesn't make sense. We're saying it is substantial and we're saying it's not a large change.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that as well.
Right.
But giving, well, I mean, granting a variance for 0 parking spots when whatever number is allowed, say it's 8, that is a large request. So I guess what this is saying is it's a large
Oh,
request,
I see.
but it's already way off from what code wants, and going a little further isn't a big deal.
You're saying it's substantial, it's a substantial departure from the code requirement, but it's not a substantial change from the current use?
Yes.
Okay.
So we could say that first sentence, I like how you said that. You could say it is a substantial change from code requirements. So that first sentence would be that it is a substantial change from code requirements, but encourages non-vehicular transportation. And that's a CAB.
And maybe just say, but is not a large departure from current use?
Yeah,
Okay. So it is not a large departure from existing,
Existing use.
Conditions, yeah.
yes.
Existing conditions.
is it necessary to explain why encouraging non-vehicular transportation is a good thing? Perhaps just saying something that is substantial but furthers the village's policy goals of encouraging non-vehicular transportation.
Well, the
Yeah, so we can add
the
another
first
sentence.
sentence in D says that.
Right,
True.
Right. And that's really not a substantial issue.
right.
So maybe strike that first sentence.
Were you talking on D or C?
C.
So you want to completely get rid of that first sentence? Where,
Well, for two reasons. I mean, it's internally inconsistent with the second sentence.
it is, that's kind of what I was wondering about. So you're saying to remove it, just say, we're finding it substantial, but we're saying it's not a large departure from existing
Right.
conditions.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't
Yes.
say anything about encouraging
Yeah, yeah,
non-vehicular.
that goes in D.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I agree.
So are we still saying it is substantial, or are we saying it is not substantial?
I think we decided, well, I wasn't at this meeting, so maybe I shouldn't say it anymore, but I thought we said that it was substantial.
Relative to the code?
Yes, yeah, but not relative to existing use.
So we could say it is substantial in that it deviates from code requirements.
Well, it eliminates the code requirements.
Yeah. So it is substantial relative to code requirements,
Yes,
and then it is not a large departure from existing conditions.
correct.
Okay, so let me read what I've scribbled here. The requested variance is substantial relative to code requirements, period, then C, A, and B above. It is not a large departure from existing conditions. A reduction from 5 parking spaces to 0 is not a large change.
All right, you don't even need that last part.
Yeah, I think we can
Just
lose that
leave
last sentence.
some-
Okay, lose that reduction from 5 to 0 is,
That's a judgment.
okay, good.
All right, next.
All right, next. We'll spend a long time on this, can't we? This is by far the longest document editing session I can remember having.
I'm gonna take out the signs part.
Right,
Yeah, that's right.
Signs. So this is just, yes, make the same as A. And we add the other sentence in A that code requirements are inconsistent with the physical reality of the site.
and don't you want to say consistent with the overall vision to provide a pedestrian-friendly destination and encourage non-vehicular?
Are you editing a sentence? Or are you adding one?
I'm adding to the first
Yeah,
sentence.
just tack on and encourage.
So what was your change? So first sentence to the end of it, you're
Yeah.
adding and encourage what?
Non-vehicular transportation. Or bicycle.
Yeah. Encourage bicycle train, yeah.
Encourage bicycle transportation?
Yeah, it's not exactly, carriage or scooter.
Well, but we don't necessarily want to make this too application specific.
Okay,
True.
So, I mean, if you're going
Okay.
to talk about bicycle, you could also talk about pedestrian.
we do have pedestrian here.
Right.
Provide a pedestrian-friendly,
Yeah. Pedestrian and bicycle friendly, maybe?
How about to encourage pedestrian and non-vehicular transportation?
The active transportation. Yeah.
The active transportation,
Yes.
right. Did you get that, Justin?
I have no hope of scribbling this in here. I have too many stuff. I think this will have to come down to Katie's.
Okay, it's consistent with the overall vision, comprehensive plan to provide a pedestrian-friendly destination and encourage non-vehicular transportation and
Pedestrian access.
pedestrian use.
Because we've got pedestrian.
We already have pedestrians, so I just,
So we just,
Yeah.
period, right?
yeah.
Yep.
And then you just took out the erecting signs,
Yep.
right? And
Yes.
then, okay, E. Okay. Do you want to say if the parking spaces remain? I'm on F.
Oh, okay, so we're past E. So we're done with that
Oh.
page. Woo-hoo. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's better.
If parking spaces remain.
Mhm.
Well, I guess I could have a smaller patio. We could add, removing all parking will make it safer. Or not.
Right, and, right,
Although I think what's here is probably more responsive to the question.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, so G.
It's currently a non-code compliant parking lot.
Instead of substandard, we can say
non-compliant,
non-compliant.
a dangerous, non-compliant parking lot.
I like that, dangerous. The end space maneuvering is if you have a parking space at the end, you're required to have a backup area for the car so it doesn't hit something. And there is no backup area for cars. And that's in code. I don't remember what the distance is, but it's in code.
It's very comprehensive.
Maybe it should say
Should we,
street.
I was gonna say, yeah, should we change Monroe Ave to State Street? Maybe this is what
Yeah,
Mike
or
was
connect
was
to-
mentioning
Or
earlier.
Route 30.
State
Mhm.
Street. Okay, Monroe Ave replaced with State Street.
I like that you added the active transportation plan.
Okay.
Yeah. H is the same as the last resolution, right? So
I think it might have been copied from another one, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe just copy and paste the same edits we made.
Could we, I don't have those edits.
I can just-
Ooh.
Oh,
Maybe we should have started on these when they're fresh. Did we edit that sentence from the other one? I think we were contemplating it and kept it. I'm talking about,
The transect.
yeah,
Transect issue, yeah.
I think nobody liked it, but they agreed in terms that,
No, we said, I loved it at the
It's
end.
fine.
Yeah, that's right, we kept it.
Yeah.
once we understood it, yes. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's G. In resolution 6.
Okay. So we could just say compare to resolutions 2023-6.
Or refer to.
Okay. All right, are we done with this one? Mike, are you okay with everything? Okay.
We're just gonna shred all this.
Does it get shredded? Or recycled?
Oh, recycle.
Recycle.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Does it need to be shredded?
No.
I don't think so.
These are draft ones, but I don't know. Obviously, the final ones are slightly changed. We're done with 8. All right, handy my copy, you get Katie's copy. I suspect they're identical, but our handwriting may not be.
So that's kind of, I was trying to help her out.
Yeah.
Is there a new 9?
And a new 10,
Okay.
and then 11
Okay,
is,
I got a question. Do we want to just skip 5 Austin Park for now and save it for another time? Or is this just, maybe this just so, maybe it'll take 3 minutes?
Promise?
Hey, I'm not offering any, I'm not proposing any changes. I already went through it once, but we can always improve wording and stuff.
My preference would be to put it off, but I don't know if that's gonna cause them.
Well, we don't have the minutes for 425 yet either.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, that's for 425. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, then you can.
there you go.
do you want me to take that for the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay, so when we do the minutes for 425,
421.
Oh, yeah, we have 421.
Oh, I
That's right.
lost in Park, so these two are tabled.
21.
Should we vote for this first before we move on to 421, or do it all
We could
together?
do 421, and then
Okay.
that would just leave 425.
well, I guess we need to make a motion for
Yeah.
what we just did.
That's what I'm saying.
So we did the 4-5 minutes, so, okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from 4-5 and resolutions 2023-4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as amended. So again, the resolution is to adopt the minutes and resolutions as amended.
Second.
Okay, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye,
I,
Abstain.
and you weren't here.
Abstain.
Mike? Okay.
And just for the procedure, Megan, when these get typed up, when you sign them, you're going to send one set to, it's, the original is, the original will be given to Dorothea. She's going to stamp them, received by the village, and then a copy will be sent to the applicant.
Do I sign the resolution?
No, I'll sign
He's going
up.
to sign the resolution, she's going
Okay.
to sign the minutes.
Okay, right. So minutes and resolutions
Yeah.
will have to be stamped after being signed.
Yep,
Yes.
that sets the date at which it absolutely was finalized. So no one questions it. And Mindy likes a copy as well of the scanned copy.
Thank you.
Once they're date stamped, you want a copy?
Yes, please.
So resolution 11 will also be tabled because that was also part of the
That was the site
April
plan.
25th meeting.
Yeah, does anyone have, are we going to go forward with that to wrap up everything for that project? Or are we going
What
to,
is this?
Well, you don't have the minutes yet, so.
that was the site plan,
Site plan, we did that on the 25th,
Mhm.
we did that on the 25th, yes.
right? So I think you can hold off on that.
I mean, they've withdrawn the site plan anyway, so, and it's conditioned on other stuff anyway, so it's not going anywhere.
Okay. So you only have the
4/21.
21st.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that the board nominates Susan Scher as acting, Susan Lota, acting chair, to sign the Mylars.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you can even say the board nominates Susan Lota, acting chair, and authorizes her to sign the Mylars. Instructs her.
Right.
Forces her, whether she wants to or not.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's not my dream event.
Directs her.
Right.
Insists.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, so we did not have the April 25th minutes on the
Right.
agenda, okay. All right, well, anyway, they're in your emails when you're ready to edit more documents.
Basically motioning the 21st minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of April 21st.
Second?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Abstain.
Abstain. You abstain? Oh, no.
No.
Okay. 7.
Is that it?
Somebody's gonna make a motion, close the meeting.
Sooner rather than later.
Go ahead, Katie.
I will make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Okay, aye,
Aye.
Aye.
okay.
so is